second time was the charm. Welcome back to the Kelp Bed. Thanks for showing up for the second episode. Not sure if you can call it an episode though, but look, got another strip out by Wednesday, even though there were some last minute hurdles. They were a little bit crazy, including catching colds and scanners not working, yada yada yada. Anyways, this time I wanted to introduce you to Howden. Now, Howden came into our lives after our dog Picus died, who happened to be the greatest dog in the world. Just saying. Anyways, my wife's coworker Valerie very kindly showed up with Howden, and Howden is named after the French magician Robert Houdin, who you might know from The Prestige is the inventor of the orange tree trick. And of course, we Americanized his accent because we're not going to overpronounce things at a restaurant. You know, you have that annoying friend that does that to you. But anyways, that's it. Thank you guys so much for showing up for the second one. I'm truly blessed and love y'all. Take care. Bye. And here we go with the bamboo skewer time once again. And you can see this time it came up handy because there was a blob of crap down the bottom of it. I just wanted to let you cats know that even though I put the product names I'm using down across the bottom, that does not in any way imply that I feel you need to buy those to do this, because I personally hate artist manuals and YouTube tutorials where they insist that you use their product. Crap. Anything that works for you works for you. You don't need a special type of green. And if you saw the last video, you know what I'm doing here. I'm just masking off the areas that I want to stay white. And once again, mind the watercolor, he has a very good tutorial on using masking fluids. And I decided to try something different this time. I went for our hard pressed watercolor paper. I wanted to see how that would work, and I put it upright on an easel so it had a steeper angle for the colors to fall down a little bit. Next time I think I'll try this with some super granulating colors. I think Schminke makes some of those. I'll have to check those out. Try to get more of a psychedelic effect. I apologize if you can hear that in the background. That would be Sybil. They're in that time of the month in their courting ritual phase where he thinks he's a singer in an emo band. Pigeons are the Johnny Cash of songbirds. They have a very limited range. Actually, it sounds like he found a roll of toilet paper to challenge. And you can see here how delicate I am with my painting. Not. We'll just splash a bunch over here, see how it turns out. Life will be good. And here's a glue residue eraser for taking off masking fluid. Works much better than just rubbing with your fingers or whatever. That, and though I don't know of it, it would not surprise me to find out that there's a fetish for masking removal with a glue eraser. Probably like an ASMR thing. Back in the day, whenever I used to doubt human creativity, I'd just log into Usenet and have my mind blown. Now I do it on Reddit. Times, they are changing. Yeah, and this is the front room to our apartment, which has a lot of windows, so there's great light, but that also means it's super warm during the summer and incredibly cold during the winter. So it's turned into Sybil and Hayward's room. They're pigeons. They've lived through everything. They'll outlive us. And yes, I am alternating between painting on the easel and painting on my bed. I just kind of wander around the apartment, which makes those particle boards I tape stuff down very convenient, because then you can just grab them and go. And this pretty much depends on what effect I'm looking for, or whether I'm watching something like Breaking Point on YouTube or listening to podcasts at the desk, or I just want to hang out and be jeered on by my belligerent pigeons. The good thing with this time is I didn't do each individual panel all the way through. I had them lined up and set to go, so like when I do Howden, I can just go through each panel and do Howden since he has a specific color. And the reason I chose each one of them to have a specific color is I don't trust my color mixing abilities to match it across the entire series. So if I know Howden is, the quinacridine, I think I probably mispronounced that, but the quinacridine gold, just grab that and go. It takes some of the thought out. I'm not that bright, as you probably noticed at this point, so anything that simplifies matters is good for me. And last week I was talking about how much I liked the lettering that Walt Kelly and his assistant Greg Ward accomplished with Pogo, but I couldn't remember who they had hired to take over the lettering since the lettering grew so ornate and specific to different characters. And I went back into the introduction to Volume 1 of Fantagraphics collection of Pogos, and in there they say, now I'm probably going to screw the guy's name up. His name is Henry Shikuma. Shikuma. Sorry about that, but yeah. Henry Shikuma, and he was hired in 1958 to take over the lettering. And if you take a look at the lettering in Pogo, I mean, it already had, most lettering has horizontals that are lighter or equal in weight to the verticals. Pogo's horizontals were heavier, but as the series continued on, each character had their own lettering style, and also the word balloons that came around grew more individualized to different ones. So I would actually recommend Pogo is just like a master class in all this stuff. So I'll probably be researching Japanese nibs in the future to try to figure out how to get that, line where your horizontals are heavier than your verticals. I know that they have them. I know I'm not endorsed anyway, obviously, but every time I get an email from Jet Pens, I know I'm just gonna come out with a light wallet. But they have a whole PDF comparing the different Japanese nibs, so I'm gonna have to spring some dough in order to try those out. Sybil, you're killing me over here. All pigeons are in a constant, almost like the Greek oracles, just giving you their epic saga of all enemies they have crushed throughout their life. I think at this point Sybil's epic is 532 chapters long. A lot of toilet paper on that list. One thing I like about sped up footage is it makes all the lines appear as if they were deliberate and well thought out, which, no. Yeah, and as you can see, my nib barfed a little bit there, big old ink spot, but that is why the gods created Deleter's white manga ink. Except last week I was using it, I went to thin it out a touch with a drop of tap water, and we had a really hot and humid week in Brooklyn last week, and when I opened it up this morning to correct that blotch, there was mold. So not only am I gonna be ordering a new bottle, but in the future when I have to thin it out, I'm gonna boil that water. I always kind of poo-pooed the idea of using distilled water, and yeah, I have been taught my lesson. And once again with the clouds, got that straight from Alfonso Dunn. He has a great tutorial on it. I kind of shouldn't have said that because, yeah, I kind of screwed these up a little bit. Hopefully Alfonso doesn't actually find this because he'll be like, what did you do? I created something beautiful and you trashed it. Sorry, Alfonso. I just realized one of these days I should get on the Jazz Cabbage and do kind of a Klimt version of Howden. You know, I made the decision to see if I could just work with his nose and his eyes to make him expressive, kind of, because mouths are so useful. But I was like, it might be cool to see what could happen. So, Howden, I apologize. He's like, I'm in a Harlan Ellison short story. I have no mouth, yet I must scream. And once again, the rolling pin. I'm determined to make that work, and I'm pretty impressed with the results. Oh yeah? Have you crushed your enemies? Can you hear the lamentation of their women? You're pretty proud of yourself. Probably ripped apart a whole roll of toilet paper in there.